Welcome back. You're watching The Right Stand. It's day 10 of the Israel-Hamas war, and Israeli defense forces continue to bombard Gaza in a bid to flesh out Hamas terrorists. The number of casualties are increasing on both sides. But today, what caught our attention is the United States' stand on this entire war. Ever since the conflict broke out in the first terror attack last Saturday, the Biden administration underlined its public and fulsome show of support for Israel. Even coffers in the country were offered to Israel as far as military support went. US's two most senior national security officials, the Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, visited Israel. They assured Benjamin Netanyahu of complete support. Amid all this, Joe Biden, in a diplomatic shift, has now cautioned and warned Israel from taking over the Gaza Strip. Biden has come out and emphasized the need for Palestinian Authority and the path to state. So let's take a look and let's bring you up to speed to what the US's stand has been 10 days into this war. Let's take a look at first what the United States said. They said that Israel has the right to defend its people, going on to say that any action that was taken against Hamas was justified. Then, as ground offensive talks started, Biden came out and said that it would be a big mistake for Israel to occupy Gaza and they must not make that mistake. The United States had warned any party seeking advantage now. They had said that this is not the time. Terror should be condemned and should be acted against. Now, they're coming out to caution to say that Hamas does not represent all of Palestinians and that is how it should be seen. So Palestinians that are caught there in the crossfire must also be heard and their say must also be taken into account. First, the United States said that Hamas terrorists are worse than ISIS. It's perhaps the same stand that they have even now, but now they're going on to talk about rights of Palestinians and how that must be protected as well. Something that we haven't seen the United States really talk about up until now, even though we're 10 days into the war. It seems like the United States is adopting a balancing act when it comes to Israel and Palestine and the issue at hand. Amid the war, Joe Biden, United States President, made multiple calls to the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, extending support. Biden said that Israel has the right to defend itself. In a first call to the Palestinian president, Joe Biden then backed humanitarian aid for Gaza. Blinken and Austin's visit in Israel was a show of support of the United States. In a bid to end war, Blinken, after meeting Benjamin Netanyahu, met the Palestinian president as well. The United States sent aircraft carriers to support Israel in war. The United States is also in talks with Egypt to open the Rafah border to allow aid to Gaza because we saw the kind of devastation that was wreaked there, the kind of havoc that was wreaked there and the civilians that were caught in the crossfire. Now, in Israel's bid to crush Hamas, United States has offered Israel its military support. We've seen financial aid coming in. We've seen the aircraft carrier, USS Gerald Ford, which is the largest warship ever built. That can carry up to 90 aircraft. That was deployed by the United States. USS Dwight Eisenhower, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier which has been directed to move to the Eastern Mediterranean to ensure that all flanks are protected as far as Israel and West Asia is concerned. 5 guided missile cruisers, US Normandy, US Thomas Hardner, US Ramage, US Roosevelt and USS Carney were also then pushed forth. The United States pushing all of this to the aid of Israel against Hamas, the terror group. Fighter jets have been deployed as well. F-35, F-16, F-15, the A-10 Thunderbolt II also all pressed into action for Israel and its fight against terror. We've seen all of these fighter jets that can survive, that in accuracy, they're great as far as delivery platform is concerned. All of them have now been pressed into service. So what exactly is the United States' stand? What exactly is the message that they're trying to send here? Let me open that up. Joining us here on this broadcast is Heino Klinck. He's a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for East Asia. Shani Moore, lecturer at the Reichman University, joining us live from Tel Aviv as well. And let me begin by asking Mr. Klinck. Many would suggest that there seems to be now, 10 days into the war, a balancing act that the United States is trying to maintain. You know, for the last 1 week, 8 days, all we heard about was Israel's war against terror and how Israel had the right to defend itself. All of a sudden now, we see the United States talking about the cause of the Palestinians as well.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Let me say very clearly, America stands with Israel. Let there be no doubt in anyone's mind that the #1 policy priority for the United States is to provide Israel with all support possible, whether it's military, diplomatic, political, and economic. Full stop. Now let me add some nuance. Some of the things that you cited, quite frankly, are not mutually exclusive. We expect and quite frankly support Israel's military actions against the terror group of Hamas. Hamas does not equal Palestinians or Palestine. Palestine and the Palestinians do not equal Hamas. There will be, in my opinion, a counter-offensive, ground offensive into Gaza to rid the Gaza, the territory of Gaza and the Palestinians living there of the scourge of Hamas, under which they suffer as well. But no one should try to equivocate their support for Israel now, a week plus after the horrific atrocities we saw that Hamas committed. Additionally, the American forces that are being deployed into the Eastern Mediterranean and other parts of the region are meant to deter opportunistic attacks from both non-state and state actors, specifically Hezbollah and Iran. These forces are not supporting or acting in coordinated fashion with the IDF, but they are meant to send a clear message that if any state or non-state actor wants to take advantage of the fight that Israel has on its hands now against Hamas, that the United States will back Israel.
Sure, but many political analysts, policy analysts, not just in the United States but around the world as well, have often believed that United States really has glossed over the moot point, the moot issue as far as the Israel-Palestine issue is concerned, which is why we're also now seeing Joe Biden come out and say that Israel should not control or have any long-term territory control as far as Gaza or Palestine is concerned. Would you agree with that or would you disagree?
I think the U.S. has a long history of supporting legitimate representatives of the Palestinian people. As you yourself reported, Secretary Blinken is traveling throughout the region. President Biden spoke with Mahmoud Abbas as well. And the American government actually provides financial assistance to the Palestinian Authority as well. The conflict that's been going on in the region has been going on for a long, long time. There are no simple solutions. I think we all agree to that. But all that being said, let's not forget what happened 10 days ago. No justification for that whatsoever. And Israel has every right to defend itself and to ensure that such heinous attacks, primarily on civilians, will never be able to be launched from Gaza again.